Day Assembly 2021. At this time, if everyone would please rise. Gentlemen, if you are wearing a cap, please remove it. We are going to have the presentation of colors by the Commerce City American Legion Color Guard.
Guard. Oh. Flagpole. Oh, come. Present. Hard. Order. Arm. Assemble, mark. Right shoulder, arm. Forward, mark. Hold.
At this time, if you would all join me in saying I pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. All right, so once again, thanks everybody for being here. This program was put together by our student council, so we really appreciate them putting this on for us. You may know that you may have a lot of friends that attend schools in other districts, and some school districts are not in session today. A lot of schools have the option of it can be a federal holiday and you have a day off. If you are in school, then schools that are in session on these days take this opportunity to educate the kids about Veterans Day and to hear from some veterans. So I'm really excited about this opportunity for you guys. Veterans Day, for those of you who don't know, is one of those holidays that we have. It's similar to Memorial Day that we celebrate at the end of May. And on Memorial Day, we remember members of the military that have fallen and never got to come home. And on Veterans Day, we celebrate those who are still with us and also remember those who have fallen. So it's really nice a couple times a year that we recognize those who give the ultimate sacrifice, in some cases, for our country, and also for those who are willing to do so. So it's really, really awesome day. And I know that we have some folks here in our audience who are currently service members or have served in the past. So anyone here that is Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, past or present, you would please rise so we can recognize you. Thank you. All right. Our first speaker was recommended strongly to us by a member of our student council, Lexi Young, very near and dear to her heart, and also to her heart as well. Mr. Mark Young, post commander, post 79 in Leroy, and grandfather of Lexi and Eddie. He's going to come and share a little bit about his experiences with military. So, Mr. Mark Young.
Appreciate it. It is my honor to be here this afternoon to speak for you and for you. And it is also my honor to be here with Mrs. Rogers, who is the mother of the tree. I didn't write a speech, but I do have a lot of notes. they wanted me to speak about my time in the service. Well, I'm a Vietnam Era veteran, not a Vietnam War veteran. I was stationed in California. It was my first assignment. My second assignment was Fort Ord. Our first assignment was Fort Ord, California. The second one was Grafenberg, Germany. I'm truly a Cold War veteran because I only fought the last 6 weeks of the Vietnam era. So, but I truly enjoyed my duties and jobs that I had. My first job was flight operations in California. That's where I worked with the pilots and the air traffic controllers. So, and then I served 18 months there, and then almost 2.5 years in Germany, which was my second job. When I got over there, I went over again as flight operations, but they had an abundance at my base, but they were short-handed on the helicopter crew chiefs. So I volunteered to do a second MOS, what it was called back then, as a crew chief to a helicopter. And I was very lucky. I got assigned to a 2-star general. So I got to fly a 2-star general around, ate as well as he did, and that's where I learned in golf. Because a lot of times he didn't fly. We averaged 3 to 4 flights a year. I mean, a week, 3 to 4 flights a week. And so we had a lot of downtime. Okay. But the biggest experience I had was visiting the world. Being a 2-star general, we went to a lot of different countries, bases. I couldn't tell you the amount of bases I went to. Air Force, Army, all of them. I bet I've been to every base in Europe. I also had the opportunity, not only to do service, but to do my personal travel with my wife and I. We had set a goal to see 25 countries in all 50 states. I lost my wife 2 years ago. We had 22 countries done in 45 states. We will finish that up as a family here shortly. My general over there was General Lynch. Like I said, he was a 2-star. But when I changed jobs, my honor was to meet my wife. She was my replacement in flight operations. A year, after 5 days later, we were married. So, wonderful lady, great grandmother. But out of my whole experience with the service, I guess my biggest accomplishments was my wife and my grandchildren, and Alexis Young, if you would, and Aiden Young. So, and I also had one more in the grade school level over at Mansfield and Xander, 4th grade. Am I correct? 4th grade, 5th grade, 4th grade. I have 6 total, so it's hard to keep them up. So, I came very close to making it a career. I went in after high school. I'm from a large family, so my parents couldn't afford college education. So I went in for the main purpose of continuing my education. I studied during my night hours law school to the University of Maryland, which most military bases has some college that offers classes at those. Getting very close to getting my diploma, I finally realized that I made a choice that I probably shouldn't have. I studied criminal law, and I decided that I would be representing criminals that I wouldn't want to represent. So I had a great job before I went in the service. I worked for UPS, and so I knew I had that job waiting for me when I came out. And, I retired 12 years ago from that company. And I truly enjoyed the last 12 years of retirement. So, but these gentlemen in front of me will tell you, even though we are out, we are also part of a great organization. Our military crews might be over actively, but we are still active to our American Legion, possibly BFW, and other organizations to still represent this country and our veterans. And I have served as commander for Leroy twice, 20 years ago in Leroy, and for the past 5 years at Leroy. And we did great accomplishments, not only for the post and our veterans, but for our community and especially our youth. Those of you that have veteran fathers, and I'm sure the school programs in that, the Legion has some amazing scholarships for the youth. So if when you're a senior now, you probably went through all your scholarship applications and that. But juniors on down, get with your American Legions and your BFWs and that. They have some great programs, great scholarships. Boys State, Girls State, Oratorical, and many things. Legion and the BFW still continues to fight for the rights of our veterans. And last year I was the 17th District Commander for the American Legion. Great honor, great position, a lot of work. But I've also just sent my application in to become at the division level and continue moving up to the state level. So that's how it goes. But like I said, I had a great opportunity to do a lot of traveling, and there's some beautiful countries and some beautiful places to visit, but the United States is still my favorite place. So it is home, and it always will be. I'm looking forward to traveling. We have a couple of trips planned with my grandchildren here in the coming year. One for grandma. So it's going to be a very special trip for us. And I'm hoping I'm not skipping over. I know I'm supposed to talk for 15 minutes, but like I said, I was a Cold War veteran. I don't have a whole lot to talk about. I did have a couple of special accomplishments. Those of you that might not know or might know the NCO Academy. I went to the NCO Academy. I had the honors to graduate from one there. And shortly after that graduation, my commander asked me to be a part of the competition for the Soldier of the Army. It's a one-year long competition. We started at the company level. We wound up with battalion, this regional, and my only military award that is still posted in my home is February 1977. I won that competition. I would like to ask the principal to step up. I have a couple of special gifts for him. Right now we are doing a special event over at Leroy. This is the 100th anniversary of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. And we, for the next 24 hours, is doing a vigil over there. We started off at noon today, and we'll go till noon tomorrow. Every half hour, we are changing the guard and doing an actual walk for the tomb, and we have a replica tomb there at our wall of honor. They issued a 100th anniversary patch for this honor occasion. I would like to give to the principal for the school and a pen. And also giving our post patch and our wall of honor patch and pin. And thank you for the invitation. Thank you, sir.
It's quite a memory. If you've never been to Arlington National Cemetery, I certainly encourage you to make that trip and visit. Make sure when you're there to visit the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. You notice as the colors were presented today, there's a regimen of things. There's routine. There's steps that have to be taken when they do the changing of the guard. Because that tomb is always guarded. There's always somebody on duty, and the changing of the guard is one of the neatest things to experience. Just to imagine the soldiers committing to guarding that tomb, for all eternity. It's really something amazing. So this is really cool. Thank you. All right, let's see. Next up, we have our FFA. We have some members of our FFA that are going to talk a little bit about the flag and the procedures. Again, talking about procedures and regimen and why we do the things that we do. And so, FFA folks, if you come on up and we're going to talk about folding the flag.
The Flagpole Experiment, despite what belief one has, is based on the same religious principles in which our country was originally founded. We ask that you set aside your personal thoughts and beliefs we expect during the ceremony.
The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold is a symbol of our belief in the eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of the veteran departing on ranks to give a portion of life for the defense of our country to attain peace throughout the world. The fourth fold represents our weaker nature. For as American citizens trusting in God, it is to Him we turn in times of peace, as well as in times of war, for His divine guidance.
The fifth fold is a tribute to our country. For in the words of Stephen Decatur, our country, in dealing with other countries, may she always be right, but it is our country, right or wrong. The sixth fold is for where our hearts lie. It is with our hearts that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces, for it is through the armed forces that we protect our country and our flag against all our enemies, whether they be found within or without the borders of our republic. The eighth fold is a tribute to the one who entered the valley of the shadow of death, that we might see the light of day, and to honor mothers for whom it flies on Mother's Day.
The ninth fold is a tribute to womanhood, for it has been through their faith, love, loyalty, and devotion that the character of the men and women who have made this country great have been molded. The 10th fold is a tribute to Father, for He too has given His sons and daughters for the defense of our country since they were first born. The 11th fold, in the eyes of the Hebrew citizen, represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon, and glorifies in their eyes the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The 12th fold, in the eyes of a Christian citizen, represents an emblem of eternity and glorifies in their eyes God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
The 13th and last fold, when the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, reminding us of our national motto, "In God we trust." Its appearance is a reminder to us of the soldiers who served under General George Washington and the sailors and Marines who served under Captain John Paul Jones and were followed by their comrades and shipmates in the U.S. Armed Forces, preserving for us the rights, privileges, and freedoms we enjoy today. Thank you.
Very cool. All right, next on our next guest speaker is kind of ties into something else that we got to do earlier in the school year. If you remember, there was a day when we went out in front of the school building as some folks on bicycles rode by, and those individuals were biking basically across the state of Illinois. It was a 500-mile journey throughout the state, actually, and they were raising awareness for Gold Star families. And Gold Star families are families who have had a member serve in the military and pay the ultimate price and not be able to return home to their families. And they want to make their cause more known throughout the state, which is why they were bicycling across the state, and they were doing fundraising for scholarships for that program. So you guys all got to see that firsthand as they went by that day. Now you get to see it firsthand. Mrs. Vonda Rogers She lives in Gibson City, and she is, her family is a Gold Star family, and she wants to share her story with you guys today. So, this is Mom Rogers.
I'm going to start my timer, otherwise y'all might have dinner with me, because once I get started talking about Josh, sometimes I just forget to stop. My husband and I have 4 kids, a girl, boy. So Emily, Josh, Hannah, and Ashton. And so I'm here really today to talk about Josh. Now remember that name, because you're going to want to Google it later, because you're going to want to read his story. When you do that, you have to remember it's RODGERS. That's a secret, so you got to remind each other of that. In 2012, we were sitting in a gym in Normal Community High School, much like this, and Josh had just finished up football. And we were trying to figure out what in the world's next, right? We went to schools. Josh thought maybe I'll play football in college one day. And so we went and we looked at all the colleges, and I had a little bit of concern because it seemed that the priority ranking of schools was girls, then drinking, then football. School was somewhere in there, but it wasn't quite near the top. I don't know how many of y'all are tracking with me, but you understand what I'm saying, right? So as mom, I wasn't real excited about sending him to college. And it turned out that was okay because Josh had a long-time interest in the Army. It was a little bit odd for us. My father-in-law served, and my brother-in-law served, but we didn't really grow up in a military family, so we really didn't know what we were getting into. Josh was in 1st grade when 9/11 happened, and it imprinted on his life. Played Army all through grade school, played Call of Duty all through high school, was pretty sure he could take down any enemy in his path. So he graduated in 2013 and he joined the Army. Now, when you join the Army, you take a test. And this test guides what job you'll get in the Army. And he did pretty good on his test and qualified for a nice, safe desk job in Washington, D.C., which I have to admit, I was pretty all for. But Josh wasn't. He wanted to go into the Special Operations Group. Now, if you don't know what that is, every branch has Special Operations. You probably heard of Navy SEALs. That's obviously the Navy's Special Operations branch. Josh went into the Army, went into infantry, and was able to go into the 75th Ranger Regiment. So he was going to be a Ranger. 1% of our country serves in the military, and of that, 1% serves in the Special Operations. So he was pretty psyched. He's pretty excited. In 2013, he went to basic training. It's quite an experience. For him, it was 14 weeks. Why do we have Veterans Day? Why do we think about thanking someone just because they served in the military? Well, let's think a minute what serving in the military means. It means you give up your personal freedoms. Someone tells you what to wear, how to cut your hair, what you're going to eat, when you're going to work, where you're going to go. Why would you do this? With that, you become a member of a very elite group whose job is to protect the United States and many other countries. We have active military in over 150 countries. So that's the part Josh loved. He loved being part of a team, tighter than a football team, if you can believe it. He loved having a purpose to protect, and he loved his job. Army Rangers have hand-in-hand combat. That's what they do. Their job is to go in on the ground and take care of whatever they've been asked to do. So in 2014, Josh went through school to learn how to jump out of airplanes. In 2015, he went to school, to leadership school, several really, but the most proud one being Ranger School. And by 2017, he was on his 3rd deployment to Afghanistan. He had also deployed to Australia and Europe for training and all across the United States. He absolutely loved his job. Now, remember when he started, we didn't have a lot of experience in the military. I had no idea what it meant to be a Blue Star family. How many of you know what a Blue Star family is? Do we have any Blue Star families? It's a tradition that started in World War II, and families that had someone serving would hang a flag up in their window, and it would have a blue star for every person in their family that was serving. It's not uncommon to see flags of 2, 3, even 4 stars, depending on how much they had invested in our military. On April 27, 2017, I learned what a gold star was. You see, late April 26th, Josh's team learned that their next mission was to go out and take down the leader of ISIS. You heard of ISIS? Not the people. And there's always a leader. This happened to be the first time they were asked to take down the leader of ISIS, and it wouldn't be the last. Now, the Army Rangers work at night, so when everybody else goes to bed, that's when they go out. Just after midnight on April 27, 2017, his company went out into the Nangarhar region of Afghanistan. If you look it up on a map, it's kind of down to your right on the border of Pakistan. It was a place they'd been before, and that night they went in to take down the leader of ISIS. It's what they do. They were well trained, they were well prepared, they were well equipped. Things didn't go quite right that night. It's pitch black. They take 3 helicopters with people in, and the helicopter Josh was on wasn't able to land. There was an obstruction, which put them just a few minutes off on the timing. So they fast-roped out of the helicopter. You've seen it in the movies. The helicopter hovers about 12 to 15 feet above the ground. There's a rope. They slide down, holding everything they need to carry with them. That night, when they fast roped down, keeping in mind it was pitch black, they were under fire from all directions. Somewhere, either on that rope or right after hitting the ground, Josh was shot in the leg. So how do I know with confidence that Josh knew what he was doing? Because there were several moments in this story that could have changed. They could have said, can't land, can't do the mission. And they didn't. He could have said, I'm shot, can't go on, catch up with you later. And he didn't. He tied a tourniquet on his leg and moved forward with his team. Probably about 10 minutes later, somewhere in that time frame, Josh was shot and killed. Along with Sergeant Cameron Thomas, it took about 45 minutes to clear the space to get him out. The men he was with went ahead, completed the mission, and that night ended successfully. Why do we thank our veterans? We don't thank our veterans because they're heroes, because they died on the battlefield. We don't even thank our veterans because they stepped on a battlefield. We thank our veterans because everyone who puts on that uniform is willing to do what Josh did that night. We thank our veterans because they're willing to risk everything for us. So that we can sit in a gymnasium and we can talk about our country. So that we can go to church on Sunday mornings. So that we can protest or cheer on bike riders. That's what our military does. And that's the importance of Veterans Day. That's why we're here. Now, Josh's story didn't end on April 27, 2017. He was killed that night. But his story continues. If you go to Bloomington, or I should say Normal, the Normal post office is renamed the Sergeant Josh Rogers Post Office. If you drive down Airport Road in Bloomington, it's been renamed in honor of Josh. If you go to a football game at Normal Community High School, you'll see the football players run past an anvil and hammer and tack on it, and that's been placed there in honor of Josh. go to several memorials down at Fort Benning or up in Marseille, you'll see Josh's name on the wall. Let me tell you how to honor all those names. A moment of silence, and then say them out loud. Because by speaking their names, we've maintained honor for their sacrifice, and we keep them alive. Veterans Day is a very important day because it's the day we stop and remember the value of our freedom and what's been given for it, both through lives and through time spent and through many tears and through much work. I appreciate you allowing me to come and join you today and to tell you a little bit about what it means to be a Gold Star family, what it means to drive by a home where you see this flag hanging in the window. Most importantly, what it means when you meet a veteran. Ask them their stories. I guarantee, like we heard earlier, they visited countries around the world that had amazing experiences. Josh's friends would tell you about the training deployment they had in Europe when they pretended they were United States DJs, and they were very famous where they came from. They would tell you about the times at Barber Air Force Base when they would each get 2 drink cards, so you can have, a little, here, I'll tell you about that. You can have a drink. Josh would trade his drink cards for food, trade his food for chew, and trade his chew for more drink cards. Yep. That's my boy. He worked hard. He works very, very hard to be the best at what he does. Or what he did, sorry. He sat in a gym just like this. And I imagine what he was thinking about was the ticket he was going to have to pay for because he drove through the grass instead of around it. Or he was thinking about how to explain to his friends that the police had followed him home because he'd gone mudding in his Jeep, not thinking about the path that would lead them straight back to his house. You see, he didn't set out to be a hero. He just set out to do the job that was placed in front of him. And because of that, he taught us something. He taught us what it meant to work hard and to play it through to the end. Thank you so much again for allowing me to be here. And I'll stick around a few minutes if anybody wants to hear more about Josh, or if you have a story of someone in your family who served, I'd love to hear about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rogers. That's a great story. I know that there's lots of folks here in the audience that probably connect with your son in their ways. So thank you. All right. Do we have time for questions? No? Okay, all right. So, questions, for those of you that do want to speak with her afterwards, catch her after the tone sounds and after we dismiss. For either one of our guests, you'll have a chance to do that before you leave today. All right, so to conclude our assembly day, our ceremony, we will have taking down the colors while, but prior to that, Sydney Rauch is going to perform text for us. procedurally, make sure we're doing this right. Let's take the colors down first, and then we finish with taps.
Look. Right shoulder arm. Forward, mark. Guard, halt. Retrieve colors. Hold it. Stop. Present. Mark. Order. Mark. Take color. Assemble. Mark. Right shoulder, arm. Forward, mark. Guard, halt.
Thank you very much, everyone, for being here today, for your awesome attention. And again, if you have questions for our guests, please come on out and ask them. And yeah, I think we are good. The end of the school.